Welcome back, League Niners. We're back for another video here. We're going to do another instructional video, but this time we're going to do it for the offensive side of the ball. We're going to actually kind of walk you through a BP session. So we want to kind of show you generally what we try to go through and strategies we take when we're trying to do a BP session. So hopefully you guys can integrate that into your own BP. Hopefully we can all learn something to get a little better at the game. But before we do that, got a big shout out for San Francisco Baseball Academy. They've been helping us out a lot for some of our teams and for the channel, so definitely go check them out. They've got cages. If you want to do baseball stuff, they've got machines to throw. If you want to do softball, they've got cages open, L screens, tons of balls, so you can get a lot done there if you're in the San Francisco Bay Area. Absolutely check them out. But now on to what we're going to do today. So tell us a little bit more about our BP session.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, we're doing an offensive instructional video today. So we're gonna do a BP 101. So everybody kind of has an idea of what they wanna do during batting practice, but everybody does it a little bit differently. A lot of times people just go out there with no plan and they just try to hit the crap out of the ball and hope that it goes real far and feel good about themselves. There is a time and a place for that, but especially when you're playing with a 5-man infield, there's a lot of things you can work on to improve your game when you're not allowed to hit home runs. Maybe your team is over the home run limit, or maybe you're just not a home run hitter, but you want to improve your game. The idea here is to just give you some things and tips on how you can execute a batting practice to work on those different aspects of the game so that no matter what pitch you see, no matter where the defense is lined up, you have a swing and a plan of attack to hit those gaps in the infield or the outfield. It'll give you a plan of attack to make you an offensive juggernaut. You will never get out if you can put all of these different swings in the bag and hit all the different holes in the infield or the outfield. No one can get you out. You want to get on base and score runs, because when you score runs, you win games.
Absolutely. Cool.
Let's do it. All right, before we get started here, we just wanted to introduce a couple of friends we brought out to BP today. For those of you guys that have watched our pitching videos, you know Uncle Jay over there. He was also in our Onyx Dominate versus 888 Monster Showdown. We got the big guy, AKA Ski, who was also in our slider pitching video. Seen him before. And we've got a special guest today here, our boy KB. He's the guy on our U-Trip team, LGH.
He is the guy.
What we wanted to do here for this video is give a little bit of different perspective. We've got a lot of different styles, different hitters on our BP today. So we kind of just wanted to allow them to give you a couple of tips that they might think about when they're going to do a BP. So, Uncle Jay, you want to start? What's something that you're thinking about when you do BP?
Sure, so I like to start off by doing BP to my opposite side, something that I'm not comfortable doing in a game. So I'll just start doing backside. I'm a lefty, so I'll just start going left side, shortstop, 5-6 hole, do that. Maybe 10-15 swings to warm up and just get comfortable. And then I'll start with a wood bat as well, just to get the swing time better and get some singles rather than try to hit bombs. And then I'll just start from there.
Ski, what about you?
I'd have to say two of the three things that I try and do in BP is always watching the bat hit the ball, because sometimes I have mechanical issues where my head is flying out. I'm not watching what I'm doing and following through when I make contact. And then the third thing is because in tournaments I walk a lot, so I get in the habit of BP swinging at everything, and I shouldn't. I should try and be a little bit more selective and hit strikes.
What about you, KB?
One of the things I like to do is being selective of who you BP with. You don't want to get a group of guys or girls out there where there's 7, 8 of you plus and everyone's trying to hit home runs, see how far they can hit the ball. No, keep it tight-knit, probably 4, 5 max, and you just make sure everyone's there to support everyone else and work on stuff. They can point out things you're doing wrong. And then also, like Uncle Jay said, when I start off, I go backside. I don't want to get fully extended, just work on it. I'm not worried about if it's a pop-up or a ground out. I'm worrying about just hitting it over there. And then I usually do typically 3 rounds. I'll go backside, middle, pull. So that way I'm working all ends of the field. And then another thing is, if you're by yourself and you're on the tee, work that as well. You can do that. Just set the tee outside for going backside, middle of the plate to go middle, inside to go pull. And then one last thing, I like to swing heavy in BP. I swing balance bats, so it's 26, 27. I swing a 28 ounce bat for BP, just to help build up strength.
Yeah, I think the only other thing that I would add to this is, you know, if you're either breaking in a new bat, BP is a great time to break in a new bat. Get 50, 100 swings on it. Potentially looking to use 52-300s if you've got a new U-Trip bat, so you don't just go straight to the hard stuff. A lot of times those bats need a little bit of time to break in. But once you found your gamer, don't swing it at BP. Those things will fail compression and then you're out a gamer stick. Find a cheap bat that's generally of the same model, or as KB said, maybe a little heavier, and get that junk bat to swing in BP once you've got your gamer set, so that you don't lose that stick and have to go buy another $300 bat, break it in again. So those are our tips. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so here's the plan for BP. We've got 24 BP balls per round. So if you look out into the field here, you'll see some of the key holes that you'll get with a 5-man infield. So you've got the 3-4 hole or the 3.5 hole here lined out with cones between first and second base. So that's gonna be hole number 1. First 4 swings, you're going there. Move into the 1-4 hole, which is your pitcher and second base hole. So if your 5-man is on the shortstop side, you're gonna try to shoot for this hole just to the left hand of the pitcher if they were facing you. If the 5-man is on the second baseman side, you're gonna shoot for this 1-6 hole here between second base and your shortstop. Again, that's just trying to prepare for where the 5-man might be. And then your last hole is the 5.5 hole, the Tony Gwynn special, or the 5-6 hole here between third base and shortstop. This is gonna be the last target zone. Each of these we're gonna try to hit 4 balls, and then with the last 8 balls of the bucket, you're just gonna get good, hard swings. But this allows us to work on the different zones that we really wanna be able to hit no matter where the pitch is.
Really quickly, just wanted to give you an overhead view of what these zones look like. So again, right here, we're looking at that, what we would call a 3-4 hole. So between where the first and the second baseman are going to be playing on the field. This is assuming that your 5-man is playing either straight up or just to the left side of the field. Next up is what we call the 1-4 hole. So again, this is if your 5-man is on the left side of the field, your pitcher is going to go back and play a little defense here, but what we want to do is get that hole between the second baseman and where the pitcher is going to back up. So that's a pretty common spot there as well. Then we have what's called the 1-6 hole. So this again is going to be if the 5-man is positioned on the right side of the field. So on the right side of second base, this is going to give you a gap right there between basically where the pitcher and the shortstop is going to play. And finally, the 5-6 hole, or some would call it the 5.5 hole, right between where the third base and the shortstop are playing. Again, this is usually when the 5-man is on the right side of the field, but every once in a while you'll see this gap here when he's on the left side of the field as well. But again, these are going to be really important spots to hit if you can. The nice part about hitting these spots is that if you hit the ball on the ground, most of the time it's going to make its way through into the outfield and you're going to get yourself a single. But even if you do get the ball up in the air, you hit more of a line drive, you're definitely going to get that ball out there. You're still going to get that base hit. So your chances of getting on base are highly increased. Let's take a look at some of these swings here to the right side. Again, this is what we call the 3-4 hole between the first baseman and the second baseman. So notice we're trying to keep this ball on the ground for the most part. That's just going to ensure that it is getting through and it's not going to fly so far that it gets to the right fielder. Now, for us righties here, you're noticing we're waiting for that ball to get really, really deep. So we're really waiting on it to get back, which makes us able to really put that angle on the ball where it gets right over there into that spot that we're looking for. If some of these get up in the air, that's not too bad as long as it's a line drive. We just really want to avoid trying to put pop-ups out there into the field at this point. Now, with Jamie here being a lefty, this 3-4 hole for him is actually a pull ball. So again, this is just like us, most of us righties that are just pulling towards third base. That's kind of the same strategy he's going to have for pulling into this 3-4 hole, again, from the left side of the batter's box.
Dude, Uncle Jamie and Keith putting on a clinic for this one.
Next up is going to be the 1-4 hole. So this is going to be the hole between where the pitcher is going to stand and where the second baseman would probably stand, assuming that the 5-man is on the left side of the field. So again, we're trying to just place this through, keep the ball low, whether it be line drives or on the ground, just increasing the chances that we're going to get on base and, again, being able to help our team in that way. So for these, again, we're still waiting a little bit, not as late as we would for the all the way to the right side, but We are waiting a little bit here just to make sure that we're getting that over the infield, right over the middle, almost right over second base. Now, one thing to be careful of here is that some places will get upset if you hit towards the pitcher. We don't want to try to purposely hurt anybody, but at the end of the day, we're trying to win some games, and they usually can play defense anyway. This is the 1-6 hole. So what we're trying to do here is try to hit the ball between where the shortstop and the pitcher would be positioned, assuming that the 5-man is on the right side of the field. Now, this happens a lot for right-handed batters that the defense knows can hit the ball to the right side, and often does. So this is just a good way to prove that you can pull the ball as well as hit backside. For these, again, not waiting quite as long on the ball. This is usually a pretty natural swing for most righties, so this is going to be one of the easier spots to hit. Most of us out there are going to be able to do it. So, nice thing is that this is an easy one. Sometimes we can start with this one just because it's a little easier, then we move to some of the harder positions. But again, just as important, we want to keep that ball up for line drives, or we want to keep that ball all the way down for ground balls through the hole. For Jamie, the lefty here, again, he's starting to hit more backside. And the last position we're going to look at here is the 5-6 hole, otherwise known as the 5.5 hole, as made famous by Tony Gwynn. So for this one, this is a pretty hard pull. We're trying to get that ball in between where the shortstop and the third baseman would play, usually when the 5-man is on the right side of the field. Now, that being said, sometimes if the left side is spread out, maybe the 5-man's playing almost straight up right by second base, this hole will still be available. And again, being righties for our first few batters here, this is a much easier spot to hit. Once we get to lefty here, Jamie, you'll notice that he's got to really wait and hit that thing backside. Now, he is very good at it. He does this in games all the time. Takes a little bit of something off the swing, just kind of swing a nice, easy 3/4, knocking it right through that hole every time he wants to do it with precision, and he gets on base a lot using this swing.
All day, baby, let's go.
Okay, wrapping up here, we've got some footage of us just hitting backside. Again, a good thing just to practice. Always being able to hit to the opposite side of the field is just a good thing to have in your back pocket, even if it's not as precision hitting as some of the zones we were showing a little earlier. But as for this video, I'm really hoping that it gave you guys a good idea of maybe how to set up your own BPs, maybe showing you how to focus on certain things and what to focus on. This isn't to say that this is the only way to set up a BP, but we feel like this is a good one for most players, most general hitters. If you're able to hit these spots, you're going to have a lot of success hitting the ball in not only league nights, but tournaments and things like that. You're always going to be a valuable hitter no matter what the defense does. So definitely make sure you get these in your back pocket and you keep practicing them. One thing to remember though when you're doing this is that make sure you have got these hits down pat before you start bringing into the game. The worst thing you can do is to bring in kind of a half practice hit to the backside that you're not really confident about and that you're not really sure you're going to be able to do what you want, and then end up getting out or pushing the ball or hitting a pop fly and getting out. You definitely do not want to be a liability to your team just because you're trying out something new for the first time. Make sure you really pound these things in practice. You really practice these in practice so that you have them down automatic every time and you really know what you're doing. I really hope this video helps a lot of you out there figure out how you may want to structure your own batting practices, and if you are the type, as we were at one point, to go out and just try to hit bombs at batting practice, again, I hope this gives you a better perspective on what you should be working on while you're there, just to make you a better player all around. So as always, thank you everybody for watching. We really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. Please, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave us a comment, do all those things so that way not only we can engage with you, but you can help our channel be seen by other people that hopefully we can help them out as well. So thank you again, and we'll see you next time.
Snap that off.
Perfect.
Snap that off.